Now, for a little bit of a more personal update, I guess, is to let you guys know what's been going on at Style Story. So, on the last episode, I did mention that our plan was that, we are basically going all in on Jellicoe. We have been a distributor of other Korean beauty brands for 10 years at this point. Over 10 years. It's been 10 years online. We've been distributing offline even before that, before we set up as like the first really dedicated Korean beauty store in Australia. And what we've learned in that time is, so many different things about the market, about the global trends and all of that sort of thing. And when we launched Jellicoe in late 2020, we didn't necessarily have in mind that we were going to stop distributing other brands at any particular point. But I have just seen what's been happening in the market, particularly post-COVID, and the proliferation of different distributors and things like that, and people selling beauty products, Korean beauty products in particular. And what I really wanted to do, and what has always been my goal, I guess, with Style Story and with the brands I run, is to do something a little bit different than what other people are doing. And I just feel like the distribution market in particular has kind of reached saturation point, and that aside from bringing over like a whole heap of newer brands and indie brands, which is, something that we've definitely tried to do in the past. The problem is that for a smaller business, it's really expensive to actually constantly launch indie beauty brands, because what tends to happen is we would put all of our marketing spend into launching these brands, doing a lot of PR, introducing them to the media, to influencers. Back in the day, it used to be bloggers and all of that sort of thing. And a lot of the time, our curations, once they took off and got more popular, they would be stolen is probably putting it too highly, but other people would then jump onto the brand and just run with it. And as a small business, it was difficult for us because we'd put all of this money behind launching these brands. We'd worked with them, done all the marketing, and then once they'd sort of taken off, we would find that other people would naturally be interested in also stocking the brand. And, through repeating that cycle years and years in a row with lots and lots of different brands, we just started to see that that wasn't going to be sustainable for us long term, particularly not as a small business. So that got us kind of to thinking, what can we sensibly do? We want to bring people, the best products. We also want to keep doing that education piece. The education piece around beauty for me in particular was something that I was always really, really passionate about. That was kind of the thing that really, kick-started my whole journey into setting up the store. And it was never just a store. It was always about, I guess, teaching, sharing, and doing all of that, translating what's going on in the Korean market out, and then for a more global audience. And I was sort of, I guess, talking with the team about what is the best way that we can keep doing what we actually love and keep a profitable business at the same time and bring people something that is meaningful, more to the point, because at this point there are so many distributors in pretty much every single market, every single country, not just Korea, not just Australia. If you look anywhere in the States, there are more distributors than you can poke a stick out. It's the same thing in the UK. It's like pages and pages if you Google, K-Beauty UK to find different sellers. So it's not really something that adds a whole lot of value for consumers then to just have all of these stores be a replication of each other, all stocking the same brands. So that kind of prompted us to think, well, what are the ways that we can kind of, move forward? And obviously it makes sense for us financially, which, is important to keep the business running. I have staff that I need to pay, that we wanted to, have a profitable business. And the majority of our sales these days do actually come from Jellicoe. So, financially, it made more sense that we would focus more on our own brand. It also means that we can then put the time into actually doing the research and development and developing out a product pipeline of products. It was getting really, really hard in the end to try and manage our time, constantly curating, updating, and bringing new brands, new products to the market with all the other things that we really had to do for Jellicoe. And we are a small team. We're a small team in Korea. We are a small team in Australia. We have a warehouse in the States, but we don't actually have any staff in the States. So it really is just our team, with the core team in Korea and a couple of people helping us as well in Australia. So to try and make sure that, we were giving the brand the time that it really needed as well to grow, that was the decision that we made, is that from now on we're not going to be distributing other brands. We're only going to be distributing Jellicoe. And what we really want to do, me in particular, is then develop out the other part of our business that really does add value and that I know that the people that I work with find really helpful to them. And that is the consultancy part of the business, which I have been doing for years now. And in that time, I've worked with brand founders, I've worked with businesses, I've worked with estheticians, companies pretty much all over the world in lots of different sectors. I mean, I've worked with people from Europe, from a lot of people from the US, the UK, that are wanting to do things in the K-beauty industry, but they want some additional support and they want someone that already has done it before and knows what they're doing, that can, help them prevent them from making costly mistakes. And that was one of the things that I thought when, deciding what we can actually do that is going to add value and actually make a difference, is the consultancy part of our business. So that's what I really want to focus on with my time as well going forward. It's actually working with people that are wanting to incorporate or bring K-beauty into their business in so many different ways. I think that's one thing in the consultancy work that I have been doing to date. I've seen the creativity and just the different angles that people are coming to the industry from. It's really exciting and I want to be part of that as well. So that was the other thing that made me go, if I have more time and our team has more time to focus on those kind of things, we can actually do more meaningful work and more of the things that we really love doing, rather than just getting caught up in, a wheel of, constantly releasing new stuff. And, the more products you have, it just makes the business a lot harder to manage because there are so many different moving parts. So we're really simplifying everything. We're bringing it back to basics and focusing on the core things that we find meaningful, that will also help us to, stay profitable and, keep going and growing our brand, which is what has become, really important to us. And also the thing that I think resonates with a lot of our consumers as well. That was, the consistent feedback that we kept getting, particularly for the brand, was that that's what people were interested in, to, see Jellicoe in more places, in more countries, to see what we're bringing out next. And the only way we could really do that is if we focus all of our time and attention onto that. And since we made that call, so we've been rolling out that strategy now pretty much all year, but we actually do have some really exciting things. We've already been in touch with a couple of retailers that I am not going to introduce or say anything about yet, just because I don't want to jinx anything, but I'm hoping that I will have good news for you guys soon with some new retailers of Jellicoe products. We have already been stocked in a pharmacy in Australia, and I'm hoping that that won't be the last. And this new retailer, if this ends up going ahead, that we are kind of quite far down the line in talks with, that would be really exciting as well. So watch this space. In terms of how that's going to affect the show, I'm sure that's what some of our listeners are more concerned about. And I don't really think that it's going to affect the show in a big way. What I'm still planning on doing is more of the same, introducing you to what's going on, what's trending in Korean beauty, answering all your questions. That's one of the things that I love doing, seeing what people are interested to know more about. So we will be doing that. We're going to keep going with the recommendations of the week, and all of those good things. There'll be less, I guess, new product drop focuses, but if there's something that's trending or whatnot in the industry or things that are making big waves, that's the kind of things that I would like to actually talk to you guys about, and cover, I guess, more of the stuff that you're not going to hear about anywhere else. I think that's the other thing that really, we were thinking a lot about when we made this call was, just the sheer volume of contents and information that is out there about Korean beauty topics these days. There are so many places that people are going to find their information. TikTok is a big source, obviously social media generally, Facebook groups, Reddit, and things like that. And the thing that I noticed is that it's the same brands and the same products that people keep on mentioning, because that's the same kind of stuff that's trending at certain vendors, or potentially the brands are putting a lot of spend behind their global marketing budget. And what that means is that there's a whole lot of stuff that is actually really popular or really great in Korea that just never gets any airtime. So that's the kind of stuff that I would rather cover, rather than, what all the brands that you guys can already access everywhere and already know a lot about. You can already find all of that information anyway. Me covering it doesn't really add anything to it. It's just one more voice. So that's kind of the decision that we've made. And in our, I guess, for future episodes, I'm hoping that I can actually introduce you guys to a lot more new products. In the time that I've been away, Jellico has actually released 3 new products. We've got our 2 serums, our Bee Jelly Overnight Dream Serum, which is our retinol collagen serum, and our white truffle souffle serum, which what we were thinking to do with those is to actually have a duo or a set of products that you could use to do skin cycling with. And the thought process behind that was, I myself am someone that has extremely sensitive, irritated, reactive skin. You guys know I have rosacea as well. So, to find something that was going to be gentle enough, soothing enough to actually care for the skin while you are using the more high-powered kind of active ingredients. So we put a lot of thought into the formulations of those products, into the textures, the consistencies, and the whole user experience for those. And it actually took us nearly 2 years to bring those products to market. So we recently released them, and so far we have been blown away by the feedback and by the reception to those products. They're quickly becoming our best sellers. So I'm very, very glad that all of our effort wasn't in vain. So that was definitely a labor of love to bring those 2 products to market. And I'll talk a bit more about the process for doing that on a later episode, because I don't want to sort of go into too much detail about everything all at once. And the other thing that we have just recently released is our Jelly Shield Pimple Patches.